Hey friends, have you ever felt the pain of someone walking out of your life without a reason? One day they're close to you, sharing laughs, moments and trust. And then suddenly, they're gone. No explanation, no goodbye. You're left with nothing but questions, replaying every conversation, every moment, trying to figure out what went wrong. At first, you feel hurt, maybe even broken. It's hard to let go of someone you cared about so deeply. You spend nights wondering if it was your fault, hoping they'll reach out, but they don't. Slowly, you begin to pick up the pieces, to find yourself again. And just when you start feeling stronger, they come back. That moment when they return can be overwhelming. Your emotions clash, happiness, anger, confusion, all at once. You might think, do they really miss me? Or are they just bored? Do they deserve another chance, or will they hurt me again? These questions swirl in your mind, and it's so easy to feel stuck, unsure of what to do next. But here's the truth. Their return is not just about them. It's about you, your growth, your strength, your peace. This moment is a test of how far you've come and what you're willing to accept. Will you let them back in, or will you stand firm, knowing your worth? Let's imagine this together. They left you in silence, thinking you'd wait forever, thinking you'd still be there. But now they see your absence, your quiet strength, and it pulls them back. Maybe they've realized what they lost, or maybe they just miss the way you made them feel. Either way, their return isn't the happy ending you deserve. It's a new chapter you get to write. In today's video, we'll explore 7 powerful steps to handle this situation. These steps are not just about keeping your emotions in check. They're about protecting your heart and building your confidence. They'll help you act with wisdom and strength, so you never have to question your worth again. So, stay with me till the end. Every step we discuss is a piece of the puzzle, and together they'll help you find clarity and peace. And as we go on this journey, I want you to share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever had someone walk back into your life after leaving you broken? Did you let them in, or did you choose to move on? Let's have a heart-to-heart in the comments. You never know, your story might help someone else who's struggling. Let's get started. Number 1, pause and reflect before reacting. When someone who hurt you or left you comes back, it stirs a storm of emotions. A part of you might want to respond right away, either to express your joy, release your anger, or seek answers. But here's the truth. Your immediate reaction often comes from a place of vulnerability, not clarity. That's why the most powerful thing you can do in this moment is pause and reflect. Why did they return now? Is their timing a coincidence, or is it driven by something deeper? Are they reaching out because they've realized your value, or is it because they need something from you? These are the questions you need to sit with before saying anything. Taking a moment to reflect isn't about overthinking. It's about protecting yourself from making a decision you might regret later. Imagine this. Someone who walked away from you a year ago suddenly texts you. Your heart skips a beat, and you feel a rush of mixed emotions. Part of you is tempted to reply instantly, pouring out your feelings or demanding an explanation. But what if you pause? What if, instead of reacting, you take a deep breath and think about what their return truly means for your life? Reflection helps you uncover the truth beneath the surface. Maybe this person left you feeling unworthy, and now their return stirs those old wounds. Ask yourself, do I want this person back because they truly add value to my life? Or am I still holding on to what could have been? A good friend of mine once shared her story of reflection. After years of no contact, an ex reached out, saying he missed her and wanted to reconnect. Her initial response was joy. After all, he was someone she once loved deeply. But instead of jumping back into his arms, she paused and thought about the reasons he left in the first place. She asked herself tough questions. Has he grown as a person? Will he bring peace into my life, or will it be chaos again? As she reflected, she realized he hadn't truly changed. His words were sweet, but his actions showed no real growth. By pausing, she avoided reopening a chapter that would only bring her pain. Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is exactly what reflection gives you, the strength to separate your emotions from reality. When you pause, you take back the power. You're no longer a puppet to your feelings or their timing. You're in control. So the next time someone from your past resurfaces, take a moment to reflect. Sit with your feelings. Journal about it if you need to. Think about the growth you've experienced since they left. Are you willing to risk your peace for their return? Reflection is not just about them. It's about protecting your future and your heart. I want to hear from you. What's your first reaction when someone from your past reaches out? Drop your thoughts in the comments with this affirmation: I choose reflection over reaction. Your words might inspire someone else who's facing the same situation. Number 2, set boundaries, firm but kind. When someone who hurt you or walked away suddenly comes back, it can feel like a second chance, but it's also a moment of reckoning. Their return isn't a free pass to pick up where things left off, and it's your responsibility to establish boundaries, firm yet kind ones. These boundaries aren't just about protecting yourself, they're about ensuring the respect you deserve. Boundaries are like the gates to your emotional world. When someone returns, you get to decide how much access they have, if any. It's not about being cold or dismissive. It's about standing firm in the growth you've achieved in their absence. If you've healed, if you've built a life of peace, why risk letting someone disrupt it without proving they've changed? Let's say a friend who betrayed your trust years ago comes back, apologizing and wanting to reconnect. Naturally, you may feel torn. Your heart remembers the good times, but your mind recalls the pain they caused. This is where boundaries come in. Communicate what you need from them to rebuild trust. Maybe it's consistency in their actions or transparency in their words. Whatever it is, don't compromise just to avoid discomfort. I once heard a story about someone whose ex-partner returned after disappearing during a tough time. They claimed they had changed, yet their actions didn't align with their words. The person, instead of rushing back, set clear boundaries. No late-night calls, no discussions about the past without accountability, and no assumptions that they could resume intimacy without trust being rebuilt. These boundaries weren't about punishment, they were about self-respect. Over time, their ex revealed their true intentions, which were rooted in convenience rather than genuine remorse. The boundaries saved them from reopening old wounds. Establishing boundaries doesn't mean you're shutting people out. It means you're protecting the life and peace you've worked so hard to build. As Seneca wisely said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Your boundaries reflect that mastery. They show that you value yourself enough to demand respect and honesty. And remember, kindness is key. Boundaries don't have to be harsh. A firm but kind approach lets the other person know where you stand without creating unnecessary conflict. You can say, "I'm willing to talk, but only if we address what happened before." Or, "I need time to see if your actions match your words." It's about balance, protecting yourself while remaining open to possibilities. So ask yourself, What's one boundary that feels non-negotiable to you? Maybe it's accountability, consistency, or no tolerance for disrespect. Whatever it is, honor it. Drop your thoughts in the comments with this affirmation: I honor my boundaries. By sharing, you might inspire someone else to protect their peace too. Number 3, listen more than you speak. When someone who left your life suddenly returns, it's natural to feel a surge of emotions, curiosity, hope, maybe even anger. But in these moments, the most powerful thing you can do is resist the urge to fill the silence with your words. Instead, listen. Let them talk. What they say and how they say it will reveal their true intentions. Listening isn't about blindly accepting what they say or rushing into forgiveness. It's about understanding. Are they genuinely apologizing and taking responsibility for their actions? Or are they using vague words and deflecting blame to ease their own guilt? The way they explain themselves will give you the clarity you need to decide if they deserve a place in your life again. Imagine someone who once ghosted you now sitting across from you, explaining their actions. They might say things like, "I've been going through a lot and I didn't know how to handle it." That's a start, but are they acknowledging the hurt they caused you? Or are they only focusing on their struggles? Listening carefully can help you see whether their return is about accountability or convenience. Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This is more than just advice. It's a tool for emotional clarity. By listening, you're not only showing maturity, but you're also giving yourself the gift of time to process and understand. Remember, listening doesn't mean you agree with them, nor does it mean you're obligated to forgive. It's about gathering the information you need to make an informed choice. Are their actions aligned with their words? Are they taking responsibility? Or are they expecting you to do the emotional labor for them? As you listen, take note of how their words make you feel. Do they bring peace, or do they stir up old wounds? Trust your instincts. They often reveal more than the words themselves. Have you ever found yourself deeply listening to someone who returned after hurting you? What did you learn from their words, or their silence? Share your experience in the comments and add this affirmation: I value clarity. Because through listening, you're not just hearing them, you're hearing the truth of your own heart. Number 4, observe their actions, not just their words. When someone comes back into your life, they often bring words full of promises, regret, and explanations. But as comforting as these words may sound, they can't be trusted alone. Words are easy to say, but actions take effort, and they're where the truth lives. Think about it. How many times have you heard someone say, "I've changed," or "I'll make it right this time," only to see the same old patterns resurface? Real change isn't spoken, it's shown. If they're genuinely here to make amends, they'll prove it through consistent, thoughtful actions. Not just once, but repeatedly over time. For instance, if someone hurt you by being unreliable in the past, their return should be marked by consistent dependability. It's not enough for them to say, "I'll be there for you now." They need to demonstrate it by showing up when they promise, following through on commitments, and respecting your boundaries. Trust isn't rebuilt in a day, it's earned piece by piece. A friend of mine once reconnected with an old partner who swore they had grown and wanted to rebuild their relationship. At first, the words were comforting, and my friend wanted to believe them. But over time, their actions didn't match their promises. They said they valued the relationship, but they rarely prioritized spending time together or making changes that mattered. My friend eventually realized that while the words were sweet, they were hollow. and the actions spoke the louder truth. The key is patience. Don't rush to trust or forgive just because their words sound good. Time is your ally here. Watch their actions without making excuses for them. Are they putting in the effort to show you they've changed? Or do their actions reveal old habits disguised by new promises? As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." This doesn't just apply to them, it applies to you too. Don't spend your energy debating whether their words are genuine. Focus on observing their actions. You deserve relationships built on integrity, not empty rhetoric. Actions reveal character. They show whether someone respects you enough to follow through on what they say. If their actions align with their words, you'll feel it. You'll sense the sincerity. But if there's a mismatch, trust your intuition. It's often telling you something you need to hear. So, how do you approach observing someone's actions after they come back into your life? Have you ever been in a situation where actions didn't match words? Share your experience in the comments and affirm this with, "I trust actions, not words." Because in the end, true change doesn't need to be declared. It proves itself. Number 5. Don't let guilt guide your decisions. When someone comes back into your life, they often come with a story, a narrative designed to pull at your heartstrings. They might say things like, "You're the only one who truly understands me," or "I've changed because of you." These words are powerful because they target one of our most vulnerable emotions, guilt. Guilt can make you feel obligated to let them back in, even if deep down you know it's not the right choice for your well-being. But here's the truth. Decisions driven by guilt are rarely good for you or for them. Guilt might push you to accept behaviors or situations that you'd normally walk away from, and over time, this can drain your emotional energy and self-respect. Think about a time when you felt guilty for standing up for yourself. Maybe you set boundaries with someone who constantly disrespected your time. When they came back, they apologized profusely, saying they couldn't live without you. Instead of addressing the real issue, they made you feel like the bad person for protecting your peace. If you gave in, you probably noticed the same patterns re-emerging, leaving you feeling trapped in a cycle of guilt and frustration. Here's the hard but necessary truth. Guilt is not love. Guilt is not respect. And guilt is not a reason to rebuild a broken connection. Healthy relationships are built on mutual effort, understanding, and respect, not one person feeling indebted to the other. It's also important to recognize when guilt is being weaponized. Toxic people might use phrases like, "You're the reason I've changed," or "Without you, I'm lost." While these statements might sound flattering, they often shift the burden of responsibility onto you. Suddenly, it's your job to keep them happy, to ensure their life stays on track. This is emotional manipulation, not genuine connection. Seneca once wrote, "To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden." In the context of relationships, this means approaching guilt with calm reasoning rather than letting it overwhelm you. Ask yourself, are they truly here to rebuild a respectful relationship, or are they trying to ease their own discomfort by drawing you back in? If you find yourself feeling guilty, pause and reflect. Remind yourself that you're allowed to prioritize your well-being. You are not responsible for carrying someone else's emotional baggage, especially if they haven't shown they're willing to change. Your life is not a debt to be repaid. It's a journey to be lived authentically. So, how do you deal with guilt in tough decisions? Have you ever found yourself saying yes out of obligation rather than genuine desire? Share your thoughts in the comments and affirm, I choose strength. Because when you free yourself from guilt, you reclaim your power to make choices rooted in self-respect. Number 6, forgive, but don't forget the lessons. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. Some think it's about letting the other person off the hook, erasing the wrongs they've done, or inviting them back into your life with open arms. But true forgiveness is not about them, it's about you. It's about releasing the burden of resentment that weighs on your heart and mind. It's about choosing peace over pain, not for their sake, but for your own. Imagine carrying a heavy bag filled with anger, betrayal, and sadness. Every step feels harder because that weight holds you back. Forgiveness is the act of setting that bag down. It doesn't mean you forget how heavy it was or why you carried it in the first place. It simply means you decide to walk forward without it. Forgiveness doesn't mean denying your experience. It doesn't mean pretending everything is fine or ignoring the hurt you've felt. It's a quiet strength, a choice to let go of the power that anger or resentment holds over you. And yet, not forgetting the lessons is just as important. Forgetting means risking the same mistakes, the same heartbreak, the same disappointments. Epictetus wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Forgiveness is your reaction. It's an act of reclaiming control over your emotions, but remembering is your wisdom. It's the armor that protects you from future harm. Have you ever forgiven someone who hurt you? If so, you know that forgiveness doesn't mean returning to the way things were. Sometimes it means keeping a safe distance while wishing them well. Other times it means allowing them back, but with clear boundaries informed by past lessons. So forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you do. And don't forget the strength and growth that pain has given you. Drop an affirmation in the comments. I forgive and grow. Because forgiveness is your power, and remembering the lessons is your freedom. Number 7, focus on your growth, not just the relationship. When someone comes back into your life, it's natural to feel a rush of emotions, hope, nostalgia, maybe even a longing to rekindle what once was. But before diving back in, pause and remember this. The growth you achieved in their absence is your greatest triumph. That progress, that hard-earned transformation, must remain your priority. Their departure likely left a void, but in that emptiness, you found your strength. Perhaps you rediscovered hobbies, pursued new goals, or healed parts of yourself that were long overlooked. You became more resilient, more self-aware, and more attuned to what truly matters. Don't let their return overshadow the person you've become. Imagine someone who was left heartbroken after a painful breakup. At first, they struggled to find balance, questioning their worth and reliving the past. But over time, they started focusing on themselves, building a career, nurturing friendships, and fostering self-love. When their ex came back months later, apologizing and seeking reconciliation, they didn't let that derail their progress. Instead, they reflected, does this person align with the life I've built? Will they support my growth, or will their presence bring me back to square one? It's a question worth asking. Does their return enhance the person you've become, or does it risk undoing your progress? A healthy relationship is a partnership of growth. It should inspire you to reach higher, not pull you down. If their presence feels like a weight rather than a wind beneath your wings, it might not be worth it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By maintaining thoughts focused on self-improvement, peace, and forward momentum, you safeguard your happiness. Don't let their return cloud your vision or dilute the clarity you've gained. This doesn't mean shutting them out entirely. It means prioritizing your well-being and growth above all else. Keep chasing your dreams, nurturing your passions, and celebrating the progress you've made. If they truly value you, they'll respect your journey and support the person you're striving to be. Have you ever noticed how much stronger you became during someone's absence? How you rediscovered parts of yourself you thought you'd lost? Share your experience in the comments. Let others know how you've grown and inspire them to focus on their own journey. Drop an affirmation in the comments. I choose growth. Because growth isn't just a phase, it's a lifelong commitment to becoming your best self, no matter who stays or who leaves. Keep growing. You deserve it. So friends, there you have it. 7 powerful steps to handle their return with wisdom, strength, and grace. Remember, it's not about shutting the door completely or rushing to open it. It's about protecting your peace and honoring the person you've become. If this video resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Which step spoke to you the most? And have you ever had someone come back into your life after leaving? Share your experiences. I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, stay strong, stay wise, and keep growing. See you soon.